Hola, and welcome to another episode of Voces, where I interview guests to broaden our understanding of people and their unique experiences. I'm Solidaridad Perez, and my guest today is Chris Cabezadura, a middle school teacher from Oklahoma City who recently made headlines when he refused to accept an essay submission from a student who chose to write about gay rights. Mr. Cabezadura has explained that he is not against gay rights, but argues that his student's essay did not meet the assignment's criteria, which is why he issued him an F. Hi, Chris. Thanks for being a guest and for being open to sharing your story with our viewers.
Oh, no, thank you, Ms. Perez, for having me. My
Oh,
pleasure.
please feel free to refer to me as Sol. So for those viewers unfamiliar with your story, do you mind describing the assignment that you gave your students, please?
Oh, but of course. Okay, so in our classroom, I teach, social studies in middle school, we're studying civil rights. So as a last assignment, I request the students to write an essay, a 2 pages essay about a civil rights movement that they like, and then find reliable sources to justify their paper, because it's, a little research.
Okay, and so your student chose to write about gay rights during the 1950s and 60s, is that correct?
Yes, indeed.
Okay, and do you consider LGBTQ history American history, Chris?
Oh, no, I never learned about it. It's not something, a unit that we study. And honestly, I don't think that civil rights affect to everybody. So I don't think that's why a movement.
Okay.
So, no.
Okay, I'd like to revisit that question later. But I'd like to first start by discussing one of the sources that your student referenced in his essay. It is a docuseries called Pride. Have you viewed it, Chris?
Yes. I did it so I can, see if it was a credible source. And I watched episode. I get to the point the episode 1 and 2, and I quickly realized that was not appropriate. I mean, to me, it was kind of hard topic, and it's not for me as a teacher. I think it's totally inappropriate.
Okay. Can you explain why you think it's inappropriate, Chris?
It's a little, how can I say? It's a documentary. So they use short part of films, independent films, about people same-sex kissing, and I think it's inappropriate. Also, it's explaining or making a point that during World War II, Marines were together, and then a lot of females went to workforce, so they were in a factory. So, I mean, it's telling you like they were forced to, the Marines have to have sex with guys because they were in a boat all together. And I don't think it's the lifestyle to promote, to tell them it's okay, me as a teacher. So, I think there was not something they chose. I think they was forced because, I mean, you don't have a choice. You are in a boat with guys, so you are working in a factory with no guys. So.
Interesting outlook. So I also saw the docuseries, and I do recall that part, but I think that the emphasis was more in conveying the idea that because men were with men more frequently, they found community, and women as well, as they were working their industrial jobs. So it helped them to feel a little bit more comfortable in acting on a lifestyle that they had been suppressing for a long time, because as you said, those weren't the norms back then. Now, Chris, I don't believe that there are any trace of complaints or legal lawsuits from anyone during that time that claimed that they were being forced to be gay. Do you think it's at all possible that maybe gay people lived in fear of being openly gay, and so when they were in community with other gay people, they felt more at ease to be themselves?
I'm not sure. I guess that's possible. Um, I I know it was not really allowed before, so I think that the first episode, um, people is, I mean, showing that people get fired or blackmailed for being gay. I guess that's possible, and what gave them the chance to be openly gay. But who's making this documentary? It's gay people, white people. So I don't know if maybe bias.
Hmm.
So
Chris, I actually interviewed various professors history from various reputable universities across the country. And each professor is openly heterosexual and agreed that the oppression of the LGBTQ community is real. In episode 1, there's one quote from Madeline Tress, who is an attorney and an LGBTQ activist during the civil rights movement.
mhm.
And she said, they didn't fire you for being bad at your job. They fired you for being yourself. So it seems that there was a level of oppression and perhaps even fear that shaped the lives of LGBTQ people back then. Do you think that it was unfair in any way?
Oh sure, but pride kind implies that every American institution was out to get LGBT people. So I think that might be an exaggeration. I mean, it was not a hunt.
Hmm. Well, I'd like to draw your attention to one part in the docuseries. It shows that the FBI kept files on gay individuals. In fact, Bayard Rustin, who was, if you recall, a bold and dynamic speaker, an
Mhm.
African American civil rights activist, he marched alongside MLK Jr. Well, he was a victim of fear mongering tactics that the FBI was using by keeping files on them and interviewing them and blackmailing them, and all because he was openly gay. He was threatened multiple times by opponents of gay rights, and the docuseries shows how politicians even went so far to leak to the press a rumor of a fake affair that he was having with Dr. King. And as a result, Rustin, who was sort of the force really behind the marches, was minimized to a secondary role as an advisor to Dr. King. There's also another reference to Senator Lester Hunt, a Wyoming senator who committed suicide after being blackmailed by another politician who threatened to expose his son as being homosexual. And then Madeline Tress, the attorney and activist, was investigated by the FBI as well for having attended gay bars and having spent time with another female. This all sounds like oppression, Chris. What is your reaction to this?
Um, you know, maybe it's painful part of the history for some, but as oppression, if it didn't affect all gays, I mean, not all gay people were involved, and not all of the were black. So the civil rights struggle was not even applicable to them. I mean,
Well, the
so
second episode also covered the marches. They had picketing, they had sit-ins, which the movement leaders really claimed broke the silence. What are your thoughts on that?
you know, I found activism too confrontational, and I get waiting rights, but did I need to be so in your face? I mean, all this was very, come on. Uh, we're talking about the 60s, and you see those guys with wearing that vulgar. They're loud.
Mhm. In episode 2, one of the most significant figures in the American gay rights movement was a man named by Franklin Kameny. And he was quoted as saying, "We are the experts on our oppression." Do you think some people just did not understand perhaps that the suffering that gay people experienced?
Well,
Okay, Chris. Well, today's psychologists, educators, and even many parents would say that visibility can help to save lives because so many young gay people grow up thinking that they're alone. So when they see people like themselves represented on the screen, even if it's in protest, it gives them hope. Do you think that is applicable to this docuseries Pride?
Um, I mean, if kids are exposed to it, they may want to do it. Um, I don't think about that, you know?
Okay, well, kids are already exposed to, let's say, violence, bigotry, racism in films and in video games. Do you think that each child that sees that follows that example?
Hmm. No, not at all. Not all of them. But there's a thing, not every family believes in the LGBTQ plus.
Mm.
Uh, op- um, they're not opening to talk about it. Sometimes, it's something very private. It can even be a taboo. So I think they should have a choice to, no?
Hmm. Do you think that education and public television in docuseries like Pride are about protecting comfort or about expanding awareness?
Well, education should open to students. I mean, I teach history. I want my students to talk about past. So, like we said, when we learn about our past, we don't make mistakes in the future.
Mhm.
So, discussion is good, but some things are not meant to be discussed in the classroom. I cannot override the parents' rights. I cannot override the parents' beliefs. So, what about if I said something that will create a conflict through their beliefs and values? And I don't have to influence them. That's my point.
Mhm. Do you think Pride is erasing family values or perhaps adding to the conversation?
I'm not gay, so I don't know enough about gay people to answer
Mm.
with more details. Um, I just know that not everybody feels comfortable discussing topics like that, which why I cannot accept the essay about it. I mean, that's one of the issues. I couldn't take that essay from my students.
Hmm. I'm curious, Chris, is there any part of the docuseries that caused an emotional reaction in you?
Yes, I mean, the way people talk about the cost of hiding. I
Hmm.
mean, being privately gay seems to be more than just following a policy. It was personal to them. I could seem to be more than just, I mean, the way they were in their eyes, I mean, the pain. It made me sad.
Hmm. That's a
I,
good
I
point,
feel
Chris.
sorry for them.
Wow, it seems like this docuseries then has the power to teach empathy. Do you think that it's worth showing to youth if it has the power to teach empathy?
Maybe, but I will want to frame. I will want to frame that carefully. Maybe show it in a classroom with previous. Um, I mean, we have to construct this better. If I want to do a topic like that, I want to come with counselors. Do we already know how we're going to approach the subject?
Mhm.
Um, this is not an easy topic. So I think if I will bring it to, I have to be very, very well um, prepared.
Okay. So then would you say that the content in Pride is part of the civil rights movement and it should be shared with students?
Mm, but it happened to the civil rights era. But it's uncomfortable to watch So it is not a topic to discuss easily. So,
Okay. Do you think that change starts with discomfort?
oh yes, to a certain extent, yes. But it have
Mhm.
been, I've been teaching for so long time, and I think it required a guidance conversation. It's a sensitive.
Mhm.
Uh, not everyone is approving, or not all the parents want their children to be taught this in a classroom.
Sure. Well, Chris, I can't help but notice that it seems like your student trusted you enough to share with you a very important part of history to him, which is pertains to the gay rights movement. Considering this, do you think you would ever reconsider regrading his essay?
Actually, I was thinking about it.
Mhm.
I thought I wanted, go through the mechanics, to the grammar, to the composition, and give him some point for it. But I wish we had this talk before, that we were have planning together. He were more open to plan with me before he just write essay. So with guidance and having, some respect from both sides, yeah.
Okay. Wow, that's a big shift from the start of our conversation. Well, one last question because we're running out of time. Chris, would you say that even though LGBTQ history is an uncomfortable issue to discuss for some, that it is in fact part of our American history?
Mm, yeah, I would set, I will give it a better look. I will, now that first, we have this nice conversation, and I will be more open minded,
Mm.
and I will do my own research. But yes, yeah, I think we all human beings, we have to be flexible and be open to change.
Okay. Well, Chris, I really want to thank you for being our guest today and for being so open to sharing your story and to answering my questions.
No, no, Miss Sol, thank you for having me. I think I enjoy it. You made me see things in a different point of view.
Mhm.
So yes, thank you. Thank you for having. I think that was very nice.
Thank you. And thank you for sharing your perspective with our viewers. And thank you, viewers, for joining us. I am Sol with Voces. Until next time, may you seek connections with others. Bye.
Bye bye.